The views expressed on this podcast are based on a satirical view of the subject matter. Please extract the posterior probing device before listening. Now, pick yourself up by your ridiculously enlarged prostate and let's get the episode started.
Big O! It's showtime!
This is the Tempest universe, man. Hold on to your ass. You're in for a hell of a ride.
What's up, and welcome to the end of your hump day. This is the Tempest universe. I'm your host, Manny, and this really is, well, for some of you. Not really the guys of the United States. Your hump day is coming to an end, and I'm here to see it go away because, damn, this week has been long, and so I felt really like today should have been Friday. That's the way I came into this whole situation today. It's just crazy, you know. But I hope your hump day was better than mine, and actually a few million people around the world who like to invest, right? But there's others who kind of got in there and spent a lot of dough today, cashing in on the downturns, as they would say. Fantastic. I did a little bit of that myself. But today we're here to talk about a whole lot of other stuff. Now, in the last episode, I did promise that we're going to I'm paying for something, all right? I'm going to play some of the 60-minute clips from when the ufology hoodlum, the ufology gangsters, we're over at 60 minutes over the weekend talking shit about UFOs, UAPs, and all that kind of stuff. There is a lot of rehashing of, the Nimitz situation. Fravors in the clip, along with Lieutenant Commander Dietrich, which you'll be surprised when you hear that one. And there's a little bit more info from another person in there. So a lot of the clips that the host will be referring to will be related to the Nimitz incident, the FLIR, and the Tic Tac video, and towards the end, a little bit of that triangular situation, the pyramid stuff that the Pentagon recently said, "Oh yeah, it's a UFO." We're really getting confused here, folks, between UFO and alien. There's a fine line that we're starting to see that a lot of people still won't cross. And it's here. But I'm going to play this for you, and then we'll do a little bit of commentary after that, and we'll see if the guys who are in the live chat, what they think about it. Fuck, they probably already saw it. I don't even remember. I think 60 Minutes used to be on Sundays. I couldn't remember, but anyway, that is what it is. So check this out.
This week on 60 Minutes, we reported on unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, more commonly known as UFOs. The Pentagon says this night vision video was taken by Navy personnel and is being investigated. Unusual sightings like this one continue to occur and be captured on video. Last August, the Pentagon set up the UAP task force to collect and analyze evidence gathered by service members who are now being encouraged to report these strange encounters. We met two former Navy pilots, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich and Commander Dave Fravor. In 2004, they witnessed something shocking, inexplicable, and seemingly out of this world. Did the thought of UFO enter your minds?
It was unidentified, and that's why it was so unsettling to us, because we weren't expecting it, because we couldn't classify it. But what I want to be really careful of here is that we don't jump to conclusions, right? That we don't sensationalize this or...
Little green men.
Little green men or extraterrestrial.
Yeah. You're seeing something that defies explanation.
Right.
Very much.
Yes.
It was November 2004, and the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group was training about 100 miles southwest of San Diego. The advanced new radar on a nearby ship, the USS Princeton, had detected what operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles over the horizon, descending 80,000 feet in less than a second. Fravor and Dietrich, each with a weapons system officer in the back seat, were ordered to investigate and found an area of whitewater in an otherwise calm blue sea. It appeared to them that an object about the size of a 737 was just under the water.
So, as we're looking at this, her backseater says, "Hey, Skipper, do you?" And about that got out, I said, "Dude, do you see that thing down there?" And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it's just kind of moving above the whitewater area.
Do you ever drop your phone and it sort of bounces off the countertop and then bounces off something else, and it's sort of like no predictable movement, no predictable trajectory.
Yeah.
I guess. It was just
like a ping pong ball.
No
just
acceleration.
Very, very random.
Acceleration.
As Dietrich circled above, Fravor went in for a closer look. So you're sort of spiraling down?
Yep. The tic-tac still pointing north-south. It goes and just turns abruptly and starts mirroring me. So as I'm coming down, it starts coming up.
So it's mimicking your moves.
Yeah, it was aware we were there. I want to see how close I can get. So I go like this, and it's climbing still. And when it gets right in front of me, it just disappears. Disappears. Like gone.
And you saw no visible propulsion,
right.
No.
wings or anything to make it fly in our atmosphere?
No, actually, when it turned and started coming up, it was kind of like, okay. Because we have nothing that goes that fast and just starts climbing at will.
Seconds later, the Princeton reacquired the target 60 miles away.
So in a matter of...
Like that?
Yeah, it just appeared there. Mm-hmm.
In seconds?
Yeah.
It was 60 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Later, another flight crew encountered what they believed to be the same object and briefly locked onto it with a targeting camera before it zipped off again.
They didn't get a visual on it, but they did get this FLIR footage,
the
the forward-looking infrared.
So you've got the infrared image,
Right.
Yes.
and your eyesight,
Yes.
and the Princeton,
The radar.
all saying there is something out there.
Yes.
The Princeton had been tracking the anomalous objects for days. Dietrich says they were unarmed.
You know, I felt the vulnerability of not having anything to defend ourselves, to not having any rounds, anything on the rails. If this was, in fact, a hostile threat, and we were engaged, I felt vulnerable, and then I felt confused when it disappeared.
Dietrich says she briefed superiors about what they all saw. In no time, the story of their encounter spread quickly.
Rumors like that spread within seconds. I would say with less than 30 minutes, the entire ship knew this happened.
And what was the reception like?
I actually thought it was kind of funny and started
Yeah.
giving us a lot of grief.
Ridicule.
Yeah.
Ridicule.
Yeah.
Yeah. They made cartoons, and on the ship's TV, they played Men in Black and Independence Day and Signs.
So
And,
they made fun of it.
Oh, yeah.
Did anybody take it seriously?
Yeah, I believe the Admiral staff made a few phone calls, but that was the extent of it.
Christopher Mellon served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence for Presidents Clinton and George W. Bush, and was on the staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. He had access to top-secret government programs. He says what Dietrich and Fravor witnessed demonstrated technological capabilities beyond those of the U.S. military's most advanced aircraft.
In the case of the Nimitz, these vehicles seem to have unlimited loiter time, which we don't have. We're limited in terms of altitude. It's hard to design something that functions well at ground level that can go, to 60,000 or 80,000 feet.
And then drop.
And then drop down to the deck or drop to 20,000 feet, and and it's like a straight vertical line.
In seconds.
Yeah, in seconds.
And this has been captured on radar.
Yeah. I've talked to some of the radar operators who observe that. Then the acceleration is far beyond anything that we're capable of.
What's the fastest one of our jets can go?
Probably for a very brief period of time, 1,500 or 2,000 miles an hour. Nothing near the degree of acceleration that has been observed in some of these cases. There's nothing we could build that would be strong enough to endure that amount of force and acceleration.
Former Navy pilot Lieutenant Ryan Graves calls whatever is out there a security risk. He told us his F-18 squadron began seeing UAPs hovering over restricted airspace southeast of Virginia Beach in 2014 when they updated their jet's radar, making it possible to zero in with infrared targeting cameras. So you're seeing it both with the radar and with the infrared, and that tells you that there is something out there.
Pretty hard to spoof that.
These photographs were taken in 2019 in the same area. The Pentagon confirms these are images of objects it can't identify. Lieutenant Graves told us pilots training off the Atlantic coast see things like that all the time.
Every day. Every day for at least a couple of years.
Wait a minute, every day for a couple of years?
Mm-hmm. I don't see an exhaust plume.
Including this one, off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida in 2015, captured on a targeting camera by members of Graves' squadron.
Look at that thing. It's rotating. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
There you go. Those are the clips from the 60-minute UAP, UFO, I don't know, regurgitation. This is really for the people who don't follow this, really. Because everyone else who follows UFOs, UAP, experiencers, abductions for years upon years upon years, they know this already. This is not news. The funny thing is, when I was looking at the video, and what was her name? Lieutenant Commander Dietrich. She really looks, first of all, she looks like she's way taller than Commander Fravor. But I got this vision of her saying, David, don't you dare go out there and mention aliens. Like she really did. She didn't want to have a damn thing to do with aliens and his story. But come on, girl. For real. You know that's what's going on. Stop fucking around. The guy that's sitting next to you, named Commander Fravor, has been hanging out with one of the most popular ufologists. He's been going from podcast to podcast talking about how these possibly could be out of this world because of their maneuvers. You telling me he doesn't believe this might be E.T.? Anyway, it's just a funny situation to actually see her. Actually, it's the first time I actually heard her speak on the matter. So there you go. Fantastic. It's really cool. If you go into the description, you can link on to the YouTube videos, and it's a bunch of them. If you go on there and search, you'll find so many of these clips being distributed all over the place. So if I get a copyright infringement notice, for fuck's sake, it is what it is. But still, it is important for people who haven't heard these or haven't seen these to kind of catch up on that, because next month it's going to be, as they say in France, balls to the walls, because it's going to be crazy. When this report comes out, it's going to be a feeding frenzy by ufologists. They're going to go completely nuts. They will probably comb through this report if they ever see it, much more than any other report they've ever seen before. They're going to go through it. Now, while the timeline is for next month for these agencies to give the report to the Congressional Committee, I just don't see people getting a hold of this next month. I feel like it's going to take a little bit of time because, the committee's got to go through it first. And the other thing, too, is that there's a lot of articles right now talking about how Senator Marco Rubio wants America to know that UFOs are real. But again, that's that fine line. Is he saying UFOs like another country? Is he saying UFOs like aliens? The other thing is that when this first came out, they were like really clear on saying, hey, we don't even know of another country that can do stuff like this. They literally would say that. They don't say that anymore. Now they're saying or insinuating that maybe it could be another country that has these advanced aircraft. But how do you get aircraft flying around for over 2 years on the East Coast, over the Atlantic, over military areas where they're training and things like that, and not investigate whether it's from another country. That's kind of weird. But again, these are things we probably don't know about. And maybe there was some kind of investigation. Maybe they did look into it. We just won't know until this report comes out. Because a lot about this report is trying to figure out how you guys are sharing information with each other when you come across these situations, right? Because you would think if there is a UFO hanging over, let's say, a Navy area, that they would report it to, the Air Force, the Army, and try to triangulate and get, all hands on deck. Bring all the weapons out. We're going to blow this bitch out the water. But I guess that's not what's happening. So there you go. So there's a clip as promised. We got 4 articles to talk about today after this. So it might be a little longer podcast than usual. So this could be a 3-shitter episode if you're counting. So let's play the first track and then we will get to it.
Let's go to work, 'cause I'm tripping. Gotta work on myself, 'cause I'm falling apart. Please wake me up, 'cause I'm slipping. Can't fight this feeling off no more. But I'm not going to give up and fall. Rise above the door, meet all my challenges and search for my strength. I defeat them all. I'm never ever gonna hide no more. I come to love myself again. Yeah. For all the things I didn't know, the pain, the hurt, I let it go. Start to believe in myself, and life will be sweet again. So sweet again. Above it all, beat all my challenges and search for my strength. I defeat them all. I never ever gonna hide no more. I come to love myself again. For all the things I didn't know, the pain, the hurt, I let it go. Let it go. And I start to believe in myself, and life will be sweet again.
You followed you today. That's the theme song. So listen, scientists got together and they got some tardigrades. You know what those are? And if you don't, look at the image for this episode. That's a tardigrade. It's also known as water bear. But anyway, they decided to take some tardigrades and shoot them out of a gun to see if they can survive space impacts. Now, the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about, mainly more last week, right? That's when it really went crazy. About the fact that the scientists are saying that we are dropping all kinds of life on Mars. And so basically, we're colonizing Mars already with all the shit we're bringing from our planet. And we also had the incident a little bit over 2 years ago on the moon where Israel crashed a spacecraft on the moon, and the damn thing had over like 1,000 tardigrades that were dehydrated. The funny thing is that these things can be dehydrated. You add a little water, they come back to life again and keep going off on their business, doing whatever they do. The weird thing is that it kind of relates a little bit, right, to what people are saying today about Mars and the fact that very possibly, number one, that NASA is not able to really have a clean room where it's really clean. And let's say some of these tardigrades could actually be on the equipment and the fucking things can actually survive the trip from here all the way to Mars. Now, you would think that with a re-entry and radiation that they wouldn't, but apparently things like these tardigrades are really hard to destroy. So these scientists decided, well, let's put these fuckers in a gun and let's shoot them and see if they can survive the impact. Fantastic idea. Fuck, why didn't I think about that? Why didn't I think about shooting tardigrades at people? Like literally. I could say I was trying to shoot the tardigrade, but sorry if you got a hole in you right now. What they did is a little crazy. If you go to the link in this particular description for this article from Science Alert, you have this is probably a 3-shitter article where it actually goes step by step on what they did. If you're interested in that, please read it. There's a part in there where they actually tell you how many tardigrades were part of the study. How many tardigrades were in a control group. How the fuck did they do this? Like, who sits around and counts microscopic tardigrades and then goes afterwards and see how many of those tardigrades are dead? There's just too much time on folks' hand. Like, I want to know who the hell was the guy that sat around for the Israeli spacecraft that actually sat around and counted out 1,000 tardigrades. Come on. I mean, really? Did someone actually count those things out? I feel like they didn't. I feel like they just took a handful of fucking tardigrades, a thimbleful, probably more like it, and just dehydrated the bitches, and there you go. Like, who would count 1,000 tardigrades? It's just nuts. I can't imagine that. But anyway, the important numbers here that I think important to the conversation and the things that they've been talking about this whole fucking weekend, a little bit of last week, was whether or not these things could have survived, number one, the impact from the Israeli spacecraft on the moon. So I said, hey, let's just jump to where we need to be, right? So they're saying they did 2 tests. The first test, the tardigrades were shot out of the gun at 825 meters per second, for you guys who like that kind of math, right? It turns out that some of the tardigrades actually survived. The other thing is, the reason why they're so indestructible because they can recover from shit like this. If they lose a limb, they just grow that shit back up. So they took a little bit longer. So they're thinking, oh, well, they suffered a little bit of damage. It's cool. They survived it, right? So good. So we know. Like, if you shoot someone with a bunch of tardigrades on the tip of your bullet, they will get filled of not only lead, but tardigrade if it's 825 meters per second or less. Now they decided, well, let's bump it up a little bit and let's see what happens, right? So the next velocity was 901 meters per second, and that resulted in what they called tardigrade jam. They all died. Every single tardigrade was history. That's 901 meters per second. So here's the thing. When they looked at the numbers for the ship from Israel, but by the way, I think by coincidence, the name of that ship, that spacecraft that got destroyed on the moon, was Bereshit. And it sounds like you're saying Bereshit. Bereshit, filled of tardigrades. The velocities that they recovered from the incident were the following. So vertically, the velocity was 134.3 meters per second, and horizontal, 946.7 meters per second. So basically what they're saying is some of the damn tardigrades could have survived. The tardigrades could have made it because, to be honest, the guys that were going vertical, they were in the go, man. If they got even just a little bit wet, those fuckers are on the moon right now, having a good ass damn time. Now, how long they would survive on the moon, not even known. But still, these guys survived. And because they survived in such harsh conditions and are so indestructible, it could be that they're alive now. They're populating like crazy. Now, those that went horizontal, you're fucked. 946 meters per second, that's the end for you. I'm sorry, tardigrade moon man. You're history. So those guys probably all died, plain and simple. So it is really funny because what they're looking at now is every single place that a vehicle from Earth has gone and crash landed, it is very possible that that vehicle took some microbiologic life and left it there as a gift, as long as it wasn't going greater than 901 meters per second. Anything below that, we're just like a rolling stone. The microbes on planet Earth, they're just jizzing all over the place. That's what's happening. So these stories actually correlate. There is evidence now that all the people that are saying, yeah, it is very possible that we're dumping microbial life all over the solar system, they might be right. They might be totally correct. The funny thing is that when you look at everything that we're talking about, there's very few people from NASA, shooting down that claim. Very few people. As a matter of fact, when Curiosity had the opportunity to go by any what could have been flowing water, not a whole lot, but on Mars, one of the things they said was, we really can't do that. We can't go investigate it because we might be carrying some microbes and we would fuck up the planet, the water. Well, really, sounds like that's already happened, so why not go for it? Go for a swim, if you will. And you can imagine all these other places that humanity has been dumping spacecrafts on, like rocks in space, other planets. So, unfortunately, I think the deal's done. We own this damn solar system. So if there were any alien microbes, they're screwed. We got them now. So like I said, if you want to look at the specifics of how they counted the little tardigrades, and they put them on this thing that wrapped around the bullet, and they shot the fucking thing out, and then they went back and recovered the bodies to see how many were alive. I don't know. It's science, man. I mean, you can't fuck with it sometimes, and this is one of those times. Because I would not want to be the one paid to look for tardigrade bodies. That would be pretty jacked up. For real.
Looking for someone to save me from all of the things in my past. I'd do anything just to make it stop. Yeah. Tired of sitting and waiting, but every time I open up, there's always someone who lets me down. So give me pain, give me pleasure, I don't mind. It's whatever, all I want is someone around. Ease my mind, give me headache, I don't care, it's whatever. All I want is someone around. La 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. All I want is feeling like I'm going crazy, staying inside in my bed, wishing that someone could wake me up. Yeah, binge watching romantic movies, the ones with the happy end, hoping that someday I'll find the one. So give me pain, give me pleasure, I don't mind, it's whatever. All I want is someone around. Ease my mind, give me headache, I don't care, it's whatever. All I want is someone around. La 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. So give me pain, give me pleasure, I don't mind, it's whatever. All I want is someone around. Ease my mind, give me headache, I don't care, it's whatever. All I want is someone around. La 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. La 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 la. All I want is la 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 la. It's someone to love, yeah. Someone, no.
Blue Origin and Jeff Bezos want you to be the first human to sit your happy ass on one of their New Shepard rockets. The very first one. How much will you pay for that? How much would you pay? Well, we don't know yet. We really don't have a clue. The bidding is on until June 10th, but it's not going to end there, to be honest, because Jeff wants more money. I saw a meme the other day, and it looked like he reminds me of Lex Luthor, to be honest. And the meme was him, like, kind of staring, giving the side eye to Elon Musk. You know, they got competing phalluses. And I was like, he looks like he's pondering how is he going to take the superpowers away from Elon. Because really, Elon in this race is, he's superpowered, right? He's like the Superman of space rockets and super phalluses. And, you know, Jeff Bezos' version of Lex Luthor it's envious. He wants his powers. Well, he's getting the money together in order to do that. So there was a bit of a kind of like a sale, if you would, an auction to the highest bidder to get that seat on that first launch of New Shepard. And let's see, there's a big ass freaking number here. About 5,200 applicants put their name on it. 50. Are there that many millionaires in the world? At the time that this article first was written, the top spot, the top bid was $1.4 million. Jiminy Cricket. These are people from, I believe it's over 136 different countries trying to get in on this seat. Well, it turns out that by the time they publish the article, it's already at $2 million and probably climbing, because on June 2nd, there's going to be one more auction, kind of like an extension to the original one, and it's going to be live. And so those people who are still in the running, who have the money for Lex to pay for his Krypton rocket, they will be in a live bidding situation to see who's going to fork over the most cash. This is crazy. And apparently on June 20th is when the passengers will be named to get on that first official flight with regular old rich-ass people to get on that New Shepard. Now, listen, it's if you got the money, you might as well do it, right? I mean, let's be honest. Put your happy ass in that chair and experience whatever the fuck it is. I honestly don't even know if it's just going to hang out in low orbit, or are they going to go up to the ISS? Doesn't even fucking say here. You know what you're going to get for $2 million plus. I assume that this might reach close to $3 million or more. You know, you get those guys, you know, out from the Middle East that got the cajillions of dollars. I don't see why any of them aren't bidding on this. They really should. Can you imagine that? Have some oil tycoon from the Middle East get that first seat. Well, the cool thing is that no matter who wins the seat and who wins that final bid to get on the New Shepard, that individual's money is actually going to be donated. So Lex Luthor is not going to add new equipment to his phallus. He's going to leave his phallus the way it is, but instead he's going to give that money to the Club for Future. It's a nonprofit that basically it's encouraging kids to pursue STEM education, and that being stem cells. So, you know, not so bad, right? For Lex, good job, Lex. You did a good job. That is fantastic. Please, if you got shit tons of money, please give it away. Kids will love it. They learn more from it. So I don't know. I don't know where this particular live auction is going to be broadcast. I don't even think they'd be able to show the names of the people. So who fucking knows? I'm sure they'll make a media event of it, and we'll see. I really think, I think it'll hit like $3 million. It's my guess. Because if I had $3 million just laying around because I ain't got shit to do with it, everything else is paid. Why not? Why not go into space on the top of some guy's phallus rocket, if you will? I mean, you kind of kill off a couple of things on your to-do list. To be honest, your bucket list, if you will. So that's the story there. Not that much there. It's still a lot of freaking money, but at least it's going to a good cause, going to the kiddos and helping them out and brighten up their future. Now, the next thing that we got to talk about is Barack. I know some of you out there listening right now, I love you some Barack. But for fuck's sake, where the hell has he been? And why is he talking about UFOs now?
Sit back, enjoy the
So listen, before we get to the next article, I know I talked about on Monday that China's, I think it's like Zhurong, or Yurong, or Zhuwang, that thing, that rover, landed on Mars or whatever, last week, the end of last week, and so they were waiting to roll the bitch out. So there it is. It actually rolled out, and it took pictures of Mars. Now, I've been having problems trying to figure out how the fuck you say that name. Because really, I want to say you wrong. You wrong for that. But I don't think that's how you pronounce it. So I said, let me go to Google Translate. And let's see what the Googles tells me. So let's try this here. And it's going to pronounce it in Chinese because it says it detected it. So here we go. Churong. I think that's the way it is. Churong. Honestly, when I first heard it, I thought the damn thing was saying Jerome. This is a quick little hit article, if you will. Barack Obama said something very interesting about UFOs. For fuck's sake, come on. Like, didn't he write enough books to keep him busy? Really? So now that you're not in office, and now that all of a sudden, Biden's there, and so my bud's there, so they're bringing up UFOs, so I need to talk about it now. Let me get on the Late Show to back up my boy Biden. I don't get it. Like, really? It's just step aside. Step the fuck aside. You're the former president. You're not the current president. If anything, Biden should be out there having news conferences about it, going on the Late Show and on Joe Rogan if he needs to. But for fuck's sake, why? Anyway, he was on a Late Show and he confessed. And here's a quote. The truth is that when I came into office, he says, I asked, right. I was like, hey, all right. Is there a lab somewhere? Where? Keeping the alien specimens and spaceships? But according to them, they told him no. That they looked into it. Say, hey, buddy. Nope. Couldn't find anything. And they make, listen. Roswell happened a long time ago. There may not be a bunch of bodies right now, They might be took it away. They're in a secret vault somewhere, and the president's not going to be able to see it. But he's out there basically saying, yeah, man, there's UFOs out there. Did you see? Did you see that? Yeah, right over there. They're getting a report ready. And I can't wait to read it, basically. And he says, here's another quote from him. What is true, and I'm actually being serious here, really, finally, is that there are these footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't exactly know what they are. Well, ain't that a bitch? Because a lot of this happened to your presidency. So you didn't know. Who's we? Who the fuck is we? I'm sure a lot of people, who are presidents, even, Biden and everyone, Trump, is like, who the fuck is we? What do you mean we? Anyway, he says, basically, we don't know what they are. They have unexplainable patterns. They fly all crazy and shit, and they make you nervous. Yeah. And he says, now we're seriously trying. Who the fuck is, why do you keep saying we? Anyway, somebody's trying to seriously investigate and figure out what this is. I'm like, seriously, man. Seriously. You made enough money with your books. Stop fucking around. So there was another little added tidbit to this article, which talked about basically what the Congressional Committee is looking for. And really, the way they wrote this is like, they ain't fucking around. You give me something less than this, there's going to be some bitch slapping that's going to happen. I'm telling you, somebody pass me the baby powder because I'm going to take somebody out. So, according to Zachary Cohen out of CNN, he says the report must contain detailed analysis of UFO data and intelligence collected by the Office of Naval Intelligence, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, say that 5 times, and the FBI, according to the Senate Intelligence Committee's directive. it should also describe in detail an interagency process for ensuring timely data collection and centralized analysis of all unidentified aerial phenomena reporting for the federal government, and designate an official responsible for that process. Who is going to be the UFO czar? Because when they always when they appoint somebody in government, they're a czar, like they're a UFO drug kingpin or something. Who's going to be this person? That's going to be a question. Could you imagine Senator Marco Rubio being the one? I mean, really, he's all into this, thinking or trying to say that it is a foreign power, being like another government on our planet that's, fucking around. That they have way too much technology on their hands type of situation. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this comes out. And really, I would figure, fuck, Barack's out there talking about this. He might get a copy before we do. Let's be honest about that. Biden's going to freaking fax that shit over too and put it in a PDF, email it to him. And he probably uses the same fucking password as the other doofus. Password, what is it? Password 12345. So the Russians will have a copy too. No doubt about that. So there you go. That's the article regarding Obama. Actually, if you go into it, it is actually a CNN article, so you can actually see the video of Obama gracefully talking about the UFO situation. Like, yeah, I don't know, buddy. You should have been talking about this shit when you were depressed, man. That's when we needed you to talk about it. Not now. This is like crazy. Completely nuts. One more article to go about these famous people that a lot of you know that are coming out, talking about having these experiences, these sightings. And they're coming out the woodwork, man, because now is when crazy is normal. Now is the normal shit. Now everybody's talking about UFOs. Government's talking about it. Other stars are talking about it. Lovato is like the ambassador to CE5 now. She's about to marry the reptilian man, right? Stephen Greer. So why not? Let's all fucking talk about it now. So here we go. They're coming out of the woodwork now. So these are two interesting ones. Some of you really know one guy, and the other guy, I'm not so sure, but I'm not into golf.
Messing around, calling all you freaks and nerds. You're just missing what you want. My brother's going down the drain. My sister's living the dream. But everybody's singing along. It's okay, we'll all soon be gone. We never really settled the score. Half the town screaming out in vain, the other half is fake. But everybody's singing along. It's okay, we'll all soon be gone. Hey, what's the matter with the bright red lights? Hey, in the moment when the world went blind. But everything's alright. We don't give a damn this time. Yeah! Everyone's a hypocrite.
Bryson DeChambeau, and he's a golfer, man. He's a golfer. Never heard this guy actually, but there you go. Apparently, Bryson here is no stranger to UFOs or his family. Like, they're all about it, man. They see UFOs all the damn time. Really, did he go out and mention this when he went golfing? No, he kept it secret. But now is the time. Now is when everyone's coming out the closet, man. Everyone's talking about UFOs, sightings, all kind of shit. All the weird shit they've seen. And they've kept hush-hush. Because they didn't want to be ridiculed. Can you imagine being heckled at a golf tournament? How bad that would be? Yeah, they'll take you off the damn tour. So Bryson basically said he had an experience one time when he was with his instructor, Chris Como, and his friend Adam Hurley. They were all hanging out together, sharing stories, being dudes. Using that, what is that thing where you shave your nads? Anyway, so it was during the pandemic last year, believe it or not. This just happened. It wasn't when he was a kid or in grade school. It was recently. In the backyard of his home in Texas. For fuck's sake, there you go. Basically, according to him, the three were together and they saw 3 little silver metal discs moving in the distance. Yeah, that's not unusual. According to Bryson, they were all moving in a triangular shape. He says they were all out there for literally about an hour just thinking, what the heck is this? They just sat out there wondering what the hell it was. Like I said on Monday's episode, some people, when they see UFOs, they freeze. And they just watch and stare. And watch and stare some more. And then a few days later, they get a tattoo of what they saw. And it's weird because a lot of people do go that far. Now, apparently, if you follow Bryson, he actually posted a picture of his little incident with the 3 triangular flying formation disc thingies. And he says, basically, we briefly went inside the house and all of a sudden, boop, gone. They just disappeared. Really strange, but that's not the only experience. Apparently he encountered a situation with his brother and a cousin years ago. Back in when he lived in Nevada when he was growing up. And it brought him to a situation where, I don't know if many people, well, that's a theory, right? If you find out about aliens, religion is out the window and people are going to go stir crazy fucking mad. So I guess he has some insight. So he says he sees no conflict with his religion and UFOs. Thanks for letting us know that, Bryson. He did. He says it's all cool, man. There could be AT coming in from somewhere else, but I still believe in God. God is God. AT is AT, not the same thing. But there is I was just screwing around. But there actually is a quote in here from him. He says, I am a religious man and I don't think it conflicts with any views from being a Christian. God talks about pretty much what is in the Bible and Jesus coming down and saving us as humans. And I think it's not excluding all life out there elsewhere. Amen, brother. He says, I think God came down and created this book, the Bible, for us, for the humans on earth. There's no reason why he couldn't make other beings everywhere else. So being a religious man as I am, playing with my little balls and stick, I kind of added that. He didn't really say that. I think that if anything, it is just us from science or religion trying to explain what God did. I don't think there are any issues with that. I don't think I was getting too deep into it. But I really believe there is other stuff out there and it doesn't affect my faith or anything. Hashtag Bryson DeChambeau. I might be mispronouncing his name, but that's basically what he said. So it's kind of I feel like he actually had a struggle for a moment there regarding aliens and religion. I really feel like he had to come to that epiphany that it's all okay. You can do both, like he's by. The other person that came out is the one and only Shaquille O'Neal. He actually came out on Jimmy Kimmel and said, yo, about 20 years ago, I saw a spacecraft. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, first of all, Shaquille O'Neal, there ain't not one damn gray alien is going to try to put Shaquille O'Neal inside this spacecraft. He's too big. He won't even fit through the fucking door. Let's be honest about that. Tractor beams won't even work. I mean, he'd have to be laying down the whole time. He couldn't walk his ass through the damn ship because he'd be hitting his fucking head the whole time. No, yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that they even considered trying to take Shaquille. Anyway, but Shaquille tells Jimmy Kimmel about paying for some guy's engagement ring at a jewelry store. And then he says, hey, when I was in Madera, California, and we passed by the fairgrounds out there, he says, I could swear I saw a flying saucer come down with all the lights, and it was spinning. Spinning. Like a saucer like you see in the fucking old-ass movies. Just spinning, landing. And then it took off. He said he was out there with a friend. He says we all looked at each other because they were out there like on a double date. And he says it was like, I know, it was a UFO. And he's like, I don't even care what anybody else says. But why you wait till now, Shaq? You could have told us that shit before. But yeah, there you go. That is crazy nuts. So we continue to see stars out on double dates. We got people who have religious experiences while they see UFOs and really debating whether or not they need to lose their religion. But geez Louise, we even got the Shaq Man. And actually in the interview, and you can click on the link to see part of that interview. It goes to ABC 7 News out of California, I assume. And basically he says that he didn't tell anyone the story for fear others would think he was crazy. But he says there's no doubt in his mind that UFOs are real. That's the way it's been, in the past. But if Barack can tell you that there's fucking UFOs, you're okay, man. You're okay. If Barack says you can believe in UFOs now because we have the proof, the government has reported it, and so now you can believe. Now you can believe in UFOs because I said so. This is Barack. But really, if it goes to the point of a former president saying, yeah, there's some shit out there, yeah, feel free to disclose all of your UFO experiences, all your probings, abductions, and any cattle you have mutilated, because it's all good now. We are free to speak about it, and hopefully June, July, August, September, October, November, whenever we get to see that report, it will have information that will be, at the very least, will help folks get through some of their experiences. And I don't know. I feel like it would resolve a lot of things for some people who have become crazed by their experiences. And then again, it could just drive you even more batshit crazy. And you'll never have fucking answers. And that's just the way it is. This is the end of the podcast episode. I thank you guys for joining me in this maddening episode today. But I guess I'll go and look for my own UFOs. See what I can find. Until next week, ciao.
Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to refine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you're the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. Time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instincts, stop listening to others, and